And joining me now is Victor Davis Hanson, Hoover Institution Senior Fellow, and Dinesh D'Souza, conservative commentator, filmmaker. Victor, your takeaway from tonight, we're going to check in with Bill Hemmer on New Jersey, which is fascinating as well. Victor.
Yeah, I don't think it was just local issues. Those were the ignition switch that set off this dynamite of the last 9 months. I think people looked at the status of the country, Laura, and they said, this is anarchy, this is chaos, it's beyond politics. We don't have a porous border, we have no border. We don't just have inflation, we printed the money with zero interest. We didn't get humiliated, we got terribly humiliated in Afghanistan. We didn't just have a chain supply, we deliberately created it by subsidizing non-labor. And I think they think, why did they do this? Why did Biden do this? Why are these people doing this? And when they were looking for answers, they said two things. You're a racist and Donald Trump's under every bed in America. And they wanted an inductive answer. They got none. And I think if they were smart, the Democrats, they'd say, we're not going to listen to the squad. We're not going to listen to Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, and I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to say we didn't charge them with racist enough, we didn't mention Donald Trump enough, we got to double down. And if they do that, I think 2010 setback for the Democrats will look like a picnic. And just finishing very quickly, I think it taught the Republicans that the MAGA agenda is institutionalized, but it's not enough to get angry. You've got to get angry and smart. You've got to get even, not just mad. And I think that's what Youngkin is really taught the Republicans. There is a way to get mad and get even at the same time at the Democrats.
Well, smart campaigning in every county. Dinesh, the DNC chair tonight, Jamie Harrison, made sure to really kind of listen to the parents' concerns about what's being taught in the schools or not. Watch.
The person interviewing me said that, yeah, critical race theory and that it's taught in public schools in Virginia. I'm like, which ones? This is a theory in law school. This is a dog whistle to divide people. They have become a party of fascism and fear. And those are the two things that really motivate them right now.
Dinesh, are they ever talking about how their agenda is making the country better, or is it just critical race theory?
Well, I mean, I agree with Victor that while the education issue was front and center, there was a critical issue in Virginia, this was a kind of stop the insanity message to the Democratic Party across the board. I mean, the Democratic Party has a razor-thin margin in the House and the Senate, but they're governing like this is FDR, like they own the country. And so I think this is a pushback against the insanity going on at so many different levels. Now, politically, this is, I think, such a devastating loss. I'm trying to sort of put it in perspective. It reminds me a little bit of the loss of the 2 Georgia Senate seats for the Republicans right after 2020. But in the case of that Georgia election, you know, there was a divide between the Trump kind of MAGA camp and the Republican establishment in Georgia. So it was a little bit of an anomalous situation. But here in Virginia, the Democrats were united. They went all in. Obama was there. Kamala Harris was there. Stacey Abrams. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. And even so, they suffered not just what looks to be a defeat, but a resounding defeat. And I think that has implications for 2022 and perhaps stretching all the way to 2024.
But Victor, I just want to keep going back to this Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema and this reconciliation bill that is still hanging in the balance. Manchin has got to see what is going on in the country. And West Virginia went by Trump by how much? I've forgotten it was so much. So what does he do? He should have shut this whole thing down, and Biden should come out tomorrow and say, do an Obama and after he got shellacked and try to work with the other party. But I doubt that will happen.
I think he's huddling with his advisors tonight, Laura, to do exactly what you said and do so in saving grace with his colleagues. But he knows it's suicide now to go along with this crazy bunch that the people repudiated. I think the message is also, they're in an echo chamber. They have Silicon Valley, professional sports, entertainment, corporate boardroom, Wall Street, universities, K through 12, but they don't have the people. They have all the leverages of communication and influence, but the message and their attitude and the meanness by which they deliver it has alienated the people. Without the people, you're nothing. And I think Manchin's going to figure that out. He already has.
Well, the gubernatorial race in New Jersey is a lot closer than expected.